As voters enter, they will be greeted and asked if they are registered. Over 75% of voters are registered and are directed to the poll book station. If they are not registered or are unsure of their registration, or if their name does not appear in the poll book, the voter will be directed to the registration station. At the registration station, the registration clerk goes to work to determine the voter's status. There can be several reasons why the voter's name is not appearing in the poll book. The voter may have recently moved or changed their name. The voter has not voted in 2 consecutive federal elections and has been purged from the database. The voter registered too late to be printed in the poll book. The voter submitted an illegible registration card and the elections office could not read the penmanship to contact them. The voter submitted an incomplete registration card and did not respond to requests from the elections office for more information. Always make every effort to find a voter's name. Sometimes a clerical error is made and the name was misspelled and may be found on another page. If you're not sure, ask your chief judge for assistance to resolve the issue. If it's determined the voter needs to register, the clerk next explains the eligibility requirements for registration. The voter must be 18 years old, a United States citizen, a 30-day Ada County resident, no legal disqualifications such as a felony. If the voter meets the eligibility requirements, the next step is to determine if the voter is in the right precinct.
Ooh, I think you're in the wrong precinct.
If it is found that the voter is simply in the wrong precinct, the registration clerk will give the directions to the correct precinct by using the polling place directory. The registration clerk can also call the registration hotline at 287-6858 for additional assistance. However, if the voter is in the correct precinct, does meet the eligibility requirements, and needs to register, the next step is to fill out the registration card. This card needs to be filled out in either black or blue ink, and all of the 10 fields need to be filled out. If any fields are left blank, the registration card is incomplete and will not be accepted. A common mistake is for field number 9 to be missed. Make sure the voter fills out all 10 fields. Once the registration card has been filled out, the voter must provide a photo ID and proof of residence. The photo ID can be any ID with a photo: a Costco membership card, an out-of-state driver's license, a passport. Any ID with their photo will qualify. Proof of residence can be anything with the name and address of the voter listed, such as a utility bill or magazine subscription. The registration clerk needs to confirm that the name on the photo ID matches the name on the registration card and the residence mailer, and that the voter presenting the information matches the photo on the photo ID. Once the voter's ID and address have been confirmed, the registration clerk will add the voter's name and address to the same-day registration page. Next, the clerk will ask for one more additional piece of ID. The earlier IDs were to register to vote. The third and final ID is for the act of voting. An acceptable ID can be a current Idaho driver's license or ID card, a federal ID such as a military ID or a passport, a tribal ID, or a school ID for an Idaho high school or college. Of course, if a voter walks in with an Idaho driver's license with their current address listed, that one ID will count for everything: photo ID, current address to register, and the photo ID to vote. Remember, IDs that are presented do not have to be current IDs. They can be expired. What the law is asking for is a photo ID with a picture. So if the driver's license has expired, or if the ID is an old college ID, as long as the photo matches the voter, the ID satisfies the requirement. The last item to take care of is on the registration card itself. As the registration clerk, you will need to fill in your precinct number, the date, and initial the card. You will also stamp "Residence Verified" at the bottom of the card. The voter needs to sign their name on the same-day registration page. Once registered, the voter will then be issued a secrecy sleeve, which is simply a folder that protects the privacy of the ballot. Sometimes the voter may also be issued a ballot designator card. The registration clerk can determine this by looking at the code in the street finder associated with the voter's address. This most often occurs in the consolidated election when a precinct has multiple ballot styles. The ballot designator card assures the voter is issued the correct ballot at the issuing station. The registration clerk will pass the newly registered name on to the receiving clerk. The voter is now ready to proceed directly to the issuing station for their ballot. If a voter shows up and does not have the required ID to vote, they can sign an ID affidavit. This requires their personal information, date, and signature. The registration clerk then fills in the precinct number, date, and signs the form. The role of registration clerk has a lot of information. Take the time to review this section and even do some practice runs with a colleague. After you go through the steps a few times, it will get easier. As always, take your time. Accuracy is vital in this position.